You don't gotta go to work, 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 but you gotta put in work, 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 work.
If you are up with us this morning, you do have to go to work. Sorry to tell you. Maybe you are working from home. It is 6 o'clock. This is a beautiful view of the downtown skyline in the background. You can see the sun starting to peek up for us on your Tuesday morning. We're glad you're up with us here on 13 Sunrise as usual, and glad to be talking about some clear skies to start our Tuesday. We might not end that way, though, as we take a look at our radar this morning.
Yeah, what a beautiful morning it is as that we saw that there. And you can look at our radar. It is clear for now. Welcome in here on your Tuesday at 6 o'clock. I'm Julia, along with Julia and Lindsay here this morning. Let's get it all in. We want you to be prepared for some rocky weather.
Yeah, when does that start for us, Lindsay?
And later on this afternoon will be round one, but I'll tell you today versus tomorrow, it's going to be two completely different setups. Low wind, severe threat for today, high end, severe threat for tomorrow.
Okay.
But still, weather aware both days. So we want to get you updated on what's going on outside right now and how this is all going to evolve. 56 and cool across central Indiana right now. We're at 50 over in Richmond, and we have dropped to just 53 degrees from Greencastle down to Bloomington. A little bit of a cooler start to our day, but we are keeping our eye on a low pressure system that is going to eject out of the upper Midwest later today. Attached to that is this cold front, and it's that frontal boundary that's going to cross Indiana today, sparking some scattered, isolated, strong to severe storms. So as we go through the day, I want you to be prepared for this. Our temperature will elevate back to the mid 70s. It will feel pretty warm before these storms start to develop. And then really anytime after about 2 p.m., fair game to see these scattered storms roll through. Again, today's outlook is a level 1 for an isolated strong to severe storm, and our primary threat today will be potentially some isolated wind gusts that do reach severe parameters. This is around 2 o'clock today. We're going to see essentially a couple of rounds. Some prefrontal scattered storms will then develop. This will move into the Indy Metro closer to 4 p.m., but notice where that front is still located. We have this collision of air masses and some uplift in the atmosphere that will promote storm development along that frontal boundary. So we go through round one, get a little bit of a lull, and then by 6 p.m., more storm development, and that is going to bring our higher chance for perhaps a few isolated stronger storms. This takes us through 8 o'clock tonight. That severe threat locally wraps up by about 10 p.m. Then we get into tomorrow. Much more advanced as far as our severe potential goes. Coming up, we'll get you updated on the latest from the Storm Prediction Center and our storm timeline for Wednesday into early Thursday morning. In the meantime, it is 6:02, and we'll head up to the traffic center for an update for you here. Pretty quiet on our roads this morning. Did have an earlier situation here in the northbound lanes of I-65. Had a couple stalled vehicles into the shoulder here in this construction zone. It did cause a little backup, but as expected, and typical for this time of day, we are starting to see some brake lights in general coming into the south split in this construction zone. Everywhere else moving along pretty good. If you're coming into the city right now, just a little bit of a delay there on 65 north at the south split. And if you are traveling in that zone, just a heads up, might need to add an extra couple of minutes as expected to your morning drive coming into the city. Guys?
All right, thanks for getting us the update there. Well, a Catholic school in Carmel is facing a lawsuit this morning after one family says bullying allegations went unaddressed.
The family says that the school didn't protect their son when the bullying escalated into harassment and assault. Anna Chalker is in studio this morning telling us more about what this lawsuit outlines. Anna, good morning.
Good morning, ladies. So it claims that the bullying all started during the boys' 7th grade year at Our Lady of Mount Carmel Catholic School. And when the family would go on to report this to the teachers and the priest, they say the response back was boys will be boys, and they were just joking around. The lawsuit says classmates would repeatedly call him names and mock him for being a vegetarian. But once he got into 8th grade, that's when the lawsuit says things got worse. Instances included the harassment intensifying and becoming sexual in nature, with kids making degrading comments in places like the lunchroom and locker room, and no school employee intervened. And now the family's attorney says no child deserves this kind of treatment.
What makes it worse is it's a private school that has religious upbringing built in for kids on kindness and acting like Jesus would. And what we were seeing here was just endless bullying.
According to this lawsuit, the boy was diagnosed with anxiety and severe PTSD after all of this, and he was eventually switched to virtual learning. We did reach out to the Diocese of Lafayette in Indiana. A spokesperson confirms they are aware of this lawsuit and take the safety and well-being of all their students and their families seriously. Now this lawsuit's not just about this boy here, saying he's the only one impacted. His family, as well as going through months and months of this, but also his sister became a target at one point in time. So we'll outline that coming up and the other agencies the family had to get involved to really help this situation.
Okay, see you soon, Anna. Thank you.
Well, a woman continues her recovery this morning after she was one of 2 women shot in downtown Indy over the weekend.
Now she's sharing more of what she went through when a night out with friends turned into an emergency. Gracie asked us not to show her face or use her full name, but she wanted to share her story. She says she was out for some fun with friends early Sunday morning, not too far from Monument Circle.
But then all of that ended with a bullet wound to her foot. The gunfire also hit another woman and nearby businesses.
People they shot without a care. They didn't care about life. They didn't care how many people they could have killed or hurt, who's a mom, who's a dad, who's a son, who's a daughter. They didn't care.
Police have not shared any new information about an arrest in this case or how the investigation is going. And IMPD doesn't really offer much information about any suspects.
They are asking, though, for any helpful tips. They say you can reach out to IMPD or Crime Stoppers anonymously.
Happening today, U.S. Secretary of Education Linda McMahon will be here in Indiana.
She's part of a special announcement in Plainfield, where Governor Mike Braun and Indiana Secretary of Education Dr. Katie Jenner will be there. This is at Plainfield High School at 8:30 this morning. There will also be a presentation on work-based learning and apprenticeships after that announcement.
Well, if you ever get a medical bill and you wonder how it costs so much, you're not alone. So 6 Indianapolis area hospitals are now being called out by the federal government over rules meant to help you save and see those costs up front.
Yeah, the Trump administration is telling hospitals they need to fix the issue or end up paying out fines. Marina Silva is looking into some of those hospitals flagged across Indiana that need to be more transparent. Marina, good morning.
Good morning. Well, these letters from the federal government are meant to make sure that hospitals are sharing those upfront prices with you before you get that bill. Now, I want to show you this map. This map shows 6 Indianapolis hospitals that were flagged. Among them are Community Health Network, Ascension St. Vincent, and Ortho Indy. Now, Community Health Network and Ascension St. Vincent say they fixed the issue as soon as they could. Ortho Indy did not respond to our request for comment. Matt Bell with Hoosiers for Affordable Healthcare says hospitals should be transparent about costs so patients can make informed decisions.
We know that medical costs are eating up an increasing portion of every Hoosier's wallet, and nationally as well. About 17 to 19% of our spending is on healthcare. Hoosiers feel squeezed just like everybody else does. They need to understand where it is that they can get the best value for their healthcare dollar.
Now, the Trump administration sent more than 500 letters to hospitals across the country, and hospitals that don't comply with the rules, they could face fines of up to $2 million. Now, Indiana already has a website where you can compare those healthcare prices. We've got a link to that on WTHR.com.
That would be a helpful tool. No one wants to be surprised when the bill comes. Thank you, Marina.